on libraries. You see behind you a little bit of my library. My favourite authors are around here. There's Maitland, for example, and Max Weber up there, and Adam Smith here. And so I put all my favourite books round me. And being in a room, a high room with 8,000 books round me, my private library, is a source of great pleasure, pride, and efficiency, because although I have access to wonderful libraries in Cambridge, I've discovered that having the book itself is an enormous benefit. You can read a book in a library and then realize you've missed something, or you can't take notes on everything, or you come to check it for references in footnotes and you have to go back to the library. So having the books round you, but also just the feel and the feeling that you are in an area where, as I often think, a sort of time and space machine. I can go to in my library to Japan, China, Nepal, through legal history, through philosophical history, world history, England, art and aesthetics, sociology, all sorts of different subjects and all sorts of different parts of the world. And obviously I haven't read most of the books, but from time to time I'm wandering across the shelves and I found a book that now makes sense and is the moment to read it, because often you buy books and you think, well, one day, because the way in which I and most people work is along threads of interest. So you start, it's like hunting an animal. You have the scent, as Sherlock Holmes put it, and then you follow that lead, and it will take you in unpredictable, unexpected directions. You don't know where you're going to be taken. And to have a library like this, and also many books which my wife has elsewhere, means that I can follow the logic and the links very quickly. If you're in a big public library or university library, it takes you 10 minutes or so to walk from one area to another, and you don't know it well enough to know whereabouts to search. So it's much, much slower and you've lost the thread. Here I can just get up and have a look across the shelves of China or Japan and find appropriate books, put them down beside me and read them. Now this is wonderful, and of course I didn't have anything like this when I was a student or even in my early days in Cambridge. It's been built up over time, and it's been supplemented 100 times, 1,000 times in the last 10 years by the internet, because although I think I've got a lot of books, I realise that I've only got 1% of the interesting books on any subject, and many of the others are available now as downloadable PDFs on the web. So I have a virtual or electronic library, but usually if it's a book that I really want to work on, I try and get a copy of it, because I personally find it difficult reading long bits on screen. So building up a library like this, which is all catalogued, is very important. But what happens to it, as with my home, when I go? How attached am I to it? Well, I love giving away books, but not the main books from my library. Copies of duplicates or my own books, fine. But now I'm coming to the point where I'm having to think, where will this go next? So I'm going to donate it to a university library in Scotland, I hope, along with all my papers. And my dream is that they will arrange it in the way that it's arranged here, so that it will be an academic's library with its desk and books round them, because my mind, the extension of my mind, in my mind are what little bits I've read and a set of ideas, and then, like all tools, extensions of the mind are in this legacy of several thousand years of Western thought and bits and pieces of thought from elsewhere. So a library is a lovely, wondrous thing.